I'm Shaima Ahli. I'm a ceramic artist, and today I'm going to show you how to make a vase inspired by the jar with cord pattern decoration. I was attracted towards ceramics because of my longing for wanting to use my hands in this art form, and my love for nature, for the beach, growing up going to the beach every day, playing with sand. This was, I think, the closest thing to that. And overall, I love anything that's free-spirited, and ceramics is a very free, expressive form of art. I was inspired by the Joman jar from Japan, which was made 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, and the main purpose for it was for cooking. But even though it was made for functional use, it is still beautiful. It did not stop them from putting creativity and love into the piece, and the whole idea of putting beauty into a functional piece 4,000 to 5,000 years ago itself was remarkable to me and a huge inspiration. To create a ceramic vase, you will need clay, weighing scale, wooden table or an MDF slate, spray bottle, plastic sheet, bucket of water, banding wheel, clay carving tools, clay hand building tools, which include a rolling pin, small sponge, a small towel, scoring tool, wooden knife and wooden blending tool, paddle, ruler, glaze. I will be creating this vase using the coil method, a method of forming pottery by building up the walls with coils of rope-like rolls of clay. Start by wedging the clay to prepare it for the work. It's basically like preparing bread dough. Take a chunk of clay and weigh it. The chunk should be no less than 700 grams. Once you have about 6 to 10 chunks of 700 grams of clay, take each chunk and start rolling, as if you're creating thick, long ropes. I'll be rolling 5 coils at a time. To roll the coils, grab a chunk of clay and use your whole hand to squidge it into a thick sausage to start with. These coils should be as thick as your thumb. Start with the tips of your fingers, then as your coil gets longer, stretch your fingers apart and move to the ends. If you start with thick coils as you build the pot, it will have a strength to it. Place the little rolls of clay in a thick plastic bag to avoid drying while you're working. The next step is to create a rolled out base for your vase. Get a chunk of clay and flatten it. Then use a rolling pin to get an even sheet of clay with even thickness. Once your base is ready, place it on a banding wheel. Turn the banding wheel and trace a circle with your index finger. Then cut it into a circle shape using your wooden knife. Cross-hatch around the base and the coil using a scoring tool. To lock the two sides of the clay into each other. It doesn't matter if the scratching looks messy, the whole point is to create friction. Add a little bit of water onto the clay as you go. Push the coil into the cross-hatching to blend the coil. Start at one end, push it down with your fingertip and thumb to blend the ends and go around the same motion. Make sure to blend internally and externally. Repeat the process until you reach the desired height. As you build the wall with each coil, lean it slightly outwards to make it wider gradually as you reach the top. Put one hand on the inside to support as you blend all these coils together. You can use your thumb or your fingers and blend downwards. Blend the lines where the coils attach to each other to make the attachments stronger and uniform. Remember to support your piece from the inside when applying pressure from the outside. Use the wooden paddle to shape the vase by placing one hand in and hitting the exterior of the vase repeatedly as you turn the banding wheel. This will give the vase a curved look. Smooth out the surface as much as possible with a wooden knife. Leave your pot to stiffen up until it is leather hard, meaning the clay is still damp but a lot sturdier. It has a cheese-like texture. You should be able to carve your fingernail into the bottom of the pot easily. If it's a sunny day, your pot might go leather hard in half an hour to an hour. If it's cold and there is a lot of moisture in the air, it could take a day. Come back to your leather hard vase. Just before you start adding the other coils for the neck, add a bit of water, score it again. Repeat cross-hatching and adding water until the clay is soft enough to receive the new clay you are going to add. It is important to have the same level of moisture in the separate pieces of clay being attached or blended together. Create the neck of the vase using the same attachment method as before. Once done, leave the clay to dry again for another 30 minutes before working on the finishing touches and decorations. Make 2 small coils to attach decorative handles at the neck. Add an extra coil at the neck of the vase. For this piece, I'll use a wooden spatula and roughly blend the exterior of the whole vase to get a surface resembling a stormy sea or windy desert dunes. Once the piece is complete, cover it loosely with plastic to let it dry slowly over the next few days. Around the 5th day, the vase will be bone dry. Take off the sheet of plastic and take the vase out in the sun. By the end of the day, once the piece is completely dry, place it inside the kiln for a bisque firing at 1000 degrees Celsius. Once the firing is complete, wash and sand the vase. To glaze the bisque vase, I'll add a glossy white color to the vase using rough strokes to avoid the neat look, so it looks intentionally ancient and liberating. You will need to add 3 layers of glaze. After the glaze is dry, place the vase back into the kiln at a temperature of 1230 degrees Celsius. This time, the firing takes 12 hours and the kiln cooling takes another 24 hours before you can open it to reveal your finished ceramic vase. I don't think people realize the cultural diversity, the acceptance, the freedom of expression that goes into pottery and any other form of art, really. But from pottery, I've specifically learned to explore other cultures, history of the world, learn about geology of the world. So it has been really mind-opening, but also heart-opening at the same time, to think about what people went through at different times in our world, creating different inspirational pieces. You can see what they were going through at that time, even if they were creating functional pieces. In art, there is no room for narrow-mindedness, rigidity, or holding back of any sort. It only inhibits your growth and it limits your sources of inspiration. Let the work guide you in expressing your emotions through it. The more emotions you put into the work, the more people can connect to it.